we're joined by the Renaud brothers, Arkansas filmmakers.
Brent, let's go. Okay. Oh, let's get out of here.
When Brent told me that he wanted to be a documentary filmmaker, I followed my older brother to the most dangerous places in the world.
They're locking in on us.
We've just got some breaking news. Brent Renaud, an American photojournalist, has been killed.
Brent lost his life documenting the horrors of the battlefield in Ukraine.
The work that he was doing, the bravery with which he did it.
My name is Brent Renaud. This is my brother Craig. Besides my brother, I struggle to make friends. Autism tells you very little about a person. I can be calm as a Zen monk in a disaster zone.
Soldiers over there.
But the cocktail party in Brooklyn was absolutely terrifying.
Brent was very intense and quiet.
You put the cameras down? Yep.
He filmed on the front line of conflicts all around the world. But what he cared about the most were the people caught in the middle.
Describe what you see.
What is your name?
My name is Brent.
The way you hold that camera, you're doing it from your heart.
Hello, everyone. My name is Heather Hurt with the NRW, where nerds rule the world, and I am here with Juan Arredondo, who is a producer, and Craig Renaud, who is the director and producer of the upcoming documentary, Armed Only with a Camera, The Life and Death of Brent Renaud. How are you gentlemen doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good. Thank you for having us. Yeah.
Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I want to start, Juan, with you, because I think this is definitely a very heavy documentary for both of you. But Juan, this was direct with you. How was it like kind of reliving these moments?
Well, thank you. Thank you for having us, Heather, and for your interest in our film. I think for me, I don't watch the beginning of the film anymore. Want listeners to give away to listeners, but those first images of the conflict in Ukraine and images of Brent, just they're sort of trigger. But making the film has been a journey on. Has been help us to heal, to bond closer with Craig and his family, to in our way find and we know things about my friend that I didn't know. So it's been a joy in that regard that I get to know more about my friend, despite that he was killed. But it's also been difficult because you have to sometimes relive that moment. It doesn't get better. I think it's just a wound that is very slow it takes time to heal.
I apologize for the heavy question right on. I just wanted to get the hard stuff out right there. Yeah. Craig, to move on to you, a very similar question. We see some very, very hard moments for you in this film. How did you feel going back and seeing yourself and reliving those moments?
It was difficult, but I just felt like it was something I had to do to pay tribute to my brother and all the journalists like him that have risked their lives and given their lives to do this work. I felt like I had to push through and tell his story, and Brent and I talked about this a lot as we've covered conflicts around the world. We've talked about what do we do if one of us are killed? What do we do if one of us are kidnapped? And it was always continue to tell the story. And so when he was killed in Ukraine, it was very clear to me what Brent would have wanted me to do. And that was to keep filming. And so, even seeing his body for the first time and seeing Juan injured for the first time, we just felt it was important to document this so that people could see what journalists go through to try to tell these stories.
I definitely want to talk about, because in the documentary, you even made the comment that, this is something that Brent would have wanted. But I do want to kind of talk about the familial aspect that you kind of bring up right there. You have many people speak in this, and you show some of the eulogies that were given. This is a very, but it feels very family. So I want to start, Juan, with you. It's through this experience, just as being a journalist going out there, do you feel like you're making family as you grow? And did you feel like you've that's come full circle with this documentary?
Well, even before making a documentary, I felt that I had an extended family among journalists. Everyone reached out when the news broke out. When I was brought into the emergency room at the hospital in Kiev, one of the first things they interviewed me, I was making sure I have this message clear. And that message is the one, that video went viral. And what I started to get, despite I being sedated because I had so many surgeries, I could see people saying, how can I help? We're here. We're sorry for your loss. So ever since that moment, I think we had a community that was always interested in what was happening to us. Obviously, because of the moment, I needed to be evacuated. Craig needed to get Brent back. But I think now we're seeing this community of storytellers, but mostly journalists coming around and surrounding us and seeing the importance of the film, because that is not only a tribute to Brent, his compassion and his filmmaking and how he was as a person, but also is a tribute to the fallen journalists. Journalism right now is under attack. It's always been, but it feels that in the last, since Ukraine started, is more and more every year, we're seeing more journalists being targeted and killed. So that's also one of the takeaways of the film is to sort of bring attention to how journalism has become one of the most dangerous professions around the world.
It really is. And see, just even at home, watching those journalists walk out of the Pentagon yesterday was super duper heavy. Craig, back to you real quick on that familial tie. What was it like? You and your brother, of course, did a lot of work together, but did you feel like your family expanded more, getting to know some of these other people that knew him?
Of course. I mean, I never could have got Brent out of Ukraine if it wasn't for Ukrainian journalists. There was a team of Ukrainian journalists that met me at the border. They stopped doing the work of covering the conflict in their own country for an entire week and dropped everything just to make sure that I could get, Brent's body out of Ukraine and back to our family. And they made sure that Juan was taken care of and that we could get Juan safely out, and like Juan said, ever since this has happened, we have had a family of journalists and documentary filmmakers and people that we have made films about, wrapping their arms around us and being incredibly supportive. When I landed in Arkansas with Brent's body, there was a military style procession that followed Brent all the way from the airport to the funeral home. And that was made up of Arkansas National Guard soldiers and DEA agents and FBI and police that we had made films with. We spent a year embedded in Iraq with the Arkansas National Guard, and this was 20 years later, and they all showed up to pay their respects to Brent in that way. The eulogies at the funeral were given by, somebody, Derek Brown from the west side of Chicago, who we've been making a film with for almost 20 years. We had a friend and a producer and security person from Juarez, Mexico, that we work with, who drove 17 hours in the middle of the night to make sure that he made Brent's funeral. And then soldiers from Iraq speaking at the funeral. So absolutely, this has been such a family process. And and Juan is now part of our family. I lost my brother, but Juan is my brother now, and it's been amazing.
That is absolutely beautiful. Now, I have to ask, just because we're pet people here at the NRW, you really talked about some very touching things. You didn't go too much into it because it is only a 40-minute documentary, but there are moments where you see Brent and his puppy. We just have to know, what happened to the puppy after everything happened?
Well, sadly, Chai died about 3 months before Brent. She got cancer, and that was the hardest thing I've ever seen Brent go through. I mean, he was such a dog person. He was so connected to Chai, but we like to believe that Chai was waiting for him and greeting him, on the other side when he passed.
Absolutely. They're always there waiting. Oh, sorry. Very touching interview here. One of my last big questions with y'all is, y'all have both done a lot of work, domestic, internationally. How, taking out that personal element, what makes this documentary, what was the process of making this documentary different? What made it different than it has with others? Once again, the personal part is just so kind of obvious, but was there anything different about it? Craig, I'd like to start with you.
Yeah, it was very different. You know, we're verite documentary filmmakers. We like to be behind the camera. Brent would not like having a film about him. I promise you that. You know, and in an instant, when Brent was shot, we went from filmmakers to being a part of this film and a part of this story. So, you know, that part was very different. And just, you know, this film was a way to work through, you know, the trauma that we experienced. You know, it was like 3 years of, you know, of digging back through archives of thousands and thousands of hours that we had captured all around the world and trying to find Brent's voice. And so I do think that was very healing for Juan and I. You know, Juan would come down and spend many months with me at my house, just the two of us doing this. So, you know, not only was it a process making the film, but it was a way for us to heal and to keep Brent alive. You know, I think with this film, the thing that I'm the most pleased about is it immortalizes my brother. You know, I want people to know who he was, how compassionate he was. And as long as we were in the edit room and we hit play and we hear Brent's voice, you know, he was very much alive. So that was quite a different experience.
Juan, what about for you? What really set this documentary apart for you? And you can't say it's the same. It's totally fair.
No, I think it's finding is through Brent's voice, and like what Craig said, that was the most challenging part of it, because we're not often in front of the camera. So for me, again, what I said earlier, it was discovering my friend in a different light, and I had not worked with them those years back, so it was a delight to go back and see these archivals, and it's almost like you get a second course on like how they were editing, and you get to see all the behind the scenes, but then pick those moments where Brent were interacting. For example, that scene in Somalia where he goes into the hospital and the patient just speaks to him. You know, those are the moments that I'm glad he had the camera rolling, because otherwise that would have just never made to the documentary, that documentary that they were shooting at that moment. But I'm glad he kept that there. So for me, that's what makes it different. It's his voice, and obviously from the perspective of Craig as a brother.
Absolutely lovely. Thank you guys so much for your time today. Armed only with the camera, The Life and Death of Brent Renaud arrives on HBO and streaming on HBO Max on October 21st. Thank you guys, and y'all have an absolutely beautiful day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Heather. Thank you very much.
Nerds rule the world.
Pleasure chatting with you. Love to all my nerds who rule the world.
Yeah. Nerds rule the world.
Yes, we do.
Thanks. Nerds rule the world. Thank you.
I love the nerds ruling the world, so more power to you.
Patrick, what up, man? And yes, they do. Nerds rule the world, kid.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Awesome. Kuya P, nerds rule the world. Hello. Yes, they do.
Yes.
Oh,
nerds rule the world.
I got.
It's in the title of your show, like nerds rule the world. Like, I want more black weirdos on screen, and I don't feel like we ever get to see that very much.
Thank you so much. Nerds do rule the world.
Yes. Thank you.
They're nice to meet you. Nerds do rule the world.
We do. We're phenomenal, aren't we?
Thank you, Nerds Rule.
Love it.
Hello, Sarah. Hello, Julian.
Yes.
Rock on. I love it. Thank you so much.
It's good to see you. I love Nerds Rule the World.
But yeah, there's a heavy nerd component, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you ask me, nerds rule the world. So
Absolutely.
And you're right. Nerds do rule the world.
We're just the best.
Yes. Yes. Nerds do rule the world. I agree.
We do.
I agree.
We're awesome, aren't we?
Thank you, ladies.
So much.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
And nerds really do rule the world.
Thank you, sir. It's your boy Kuya P. Nerds rule the world. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
Do. They rule the world all right.
Yes. Take care, Tony. Thank you, guys.
Well, I was good until I saw that this is Nerds Rule the World. So are we talking about like everybody you interview is a nerd, right?
Oh, it's a legal requirement. It is.
It's a legal requirement. Or are you, or the second you popped on screen, I was like, wait, are you supposed to be the queen nerd then?
I hope so. My handle is Heather is a nerd, so I am a professional at least.
Okay. But then you enter that whole question of like, well, if you're calling yourself a nerd, are you really a nerd? True nerd, would they call them? I don't know. I'm going to start going cross-eyed.
Going to psychoanalyze this a little bit.
Yeah.